Right behind me is Amsterdam, a city that is well known for its bicycles, its canals, but not really for cars. Perhaps it's better known for other things. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Amsterdam has been a city that has been actively fighting cars since the 1970s, and it has been trying to remove them from its city streets ever since. But I am a car guy, and this is a car YouTube channel. So I do have one question. What do people drive here in Amsterdam? And more importantly, how unfriendly is Amsterdam really when it comes to cars? That's what I want to find out here in this video that will be a mixture between a travel blog and an actual car video. First, I'll state the obvious. The main mean of transportation that people use here around Amsterdam is bicycles. You see them everywhere. And it's not only here in Amsterdam, but rather also in other cities in the Netherlands. In fact, this is one of the few countries in Europe that I've been to that haven't had astonishingly good public transportation, but rather everything is designed for you to use your bicycle. Even kids ride in them. But that doesn't mean that there are no cars here in Amsterdam. On the contrary, cars are used a lot. A very common type of car here in Amsterdam are these microcars. You'll see them everywhere. One of the most common models is called Kanta. You'll be able to see some images of a Kanta over here. They're not allowed to go over 40 kilometers an hour. They can take maximum 2 people. And seriously, you see them a lot here in Amsterdam because you're allowed to drive them on sidewalks and you're allowed to drive them on bike paths. So it's like a bicycle with a roof, but it's actually a car. Look, this one even has a sunroof. But really, the only restriction that exists here in Amsterdam when it comes to driving cars on the street is that diesel cars cannot be older than 2006. They have to meet Euro 4 regulations. And that's it. Classic cars are exempt from that. The only thing that's stopping most people from driving here in Amsterdam is actually how expensive it is to park. But that's the norm in a lot of cities that people consider car friendly. If you go to LA, you'll still pay a fortune for parking. So one of the surprises that I got when I came here to the Netherlands is that I realized that it's not such a car unfriendly city. More on the contrary, it's on par with other European cities. In fact, I'd much rather drive into the center of Amsterdam than drive into the center of London. It's easier to park, it's easier to drive, and there are not such huge traffic jams as there are back in the UK. So now that we've made clear that there are no big restrictions into driving in Amsterdam, and that claiming that Amsterdam is a very, very car unfriendly city is a lie at best. What do people actually drive here? What's the most common car? And are there any performance or enthusiast cars here in Amsterdam? We'll find out. So of course, one of the first things that I noticed, especially now that I'm in the most touristy part of Amsterdam, is how many of the cars do not have Netherlands plates. So Netherlands license plates are yellow, like the one you see on that Audi Q3. This car, this Mercedes C-Class, for instance, has Germany plates, Deutschland. This is a row of cars from the Netherlands, but while I was walking and filming this, a lot of cars from other countries, see, that's a Swiss license plate. A lot of cars from other countries also passed by. Oh, people driving G-Wagons, parking wherever they want. I guess that happens all over the world. And by the way, that's a very, very nice G63. I genuinely really love that car. See, talking about foreign plates, this is Ukrainian license plate, which is actually a very common license plate with the current situation here in Europe. I've seen them all over the continent. Seriously, very nice G63. I'm already used to the sheer number of bicycles that you see around here, but if you're someone who comes here for the first time, you're always very surprised. But the fact that there are so many bicycles does not mean that there are not a lot of cars. That's an E-Class estate, station wagon, as you would call it in the US. Those are extremely common here in Europe in general. They're used mainly as taxis. That one had a blue license plate, which actually meant it was a taxi. To me, it's surprising how few smart cars I actually see on the street. You'd think a city with such tiny cobblestone streets such as this one, and a very small city as Amsterdam is, would have a lot of tiny city cars. So you don't see a lot of city cars. Actually, this is surprisingly common, seeing big American cars such as a Jeep Cherokee randomly parked in the middle of Amsterdam. And as I said, this is not really a car unfriendly city. It's a very bike friendly city, but I haven't seen a lot of things that make it, so to say, anti-cars. In fact, I drove my car into the center of Amsterdam just last week. I choose to park it on the outskirts just because traffic is chaotic here. But traffic is chaotic in just about any big city. You see a lot of wagons like this. So a 5 Series wagon, 5 Series Touring as it's called. And that's a very common thing. That kind of segment of car, you know, like an A6 or an E-Class or a BMW 5 Series. Here's an X4. They're not small cars, or an Audi A6 Avant. Is this an A6 or is it an S6? S-line with the red calipers. Yeah, that's an A6 Avant. But you see, I'm walking. This is a wealthy or wealthy-ish area, since I'm in the middle of downtown Amsterdam and these apartments cost a fortune. But the image that people sell when they talk about Amsterdam is they talk about no cars or very, very small cars, lots of bikes, which is true, lots of people, which is also true. See, and there are not that many electric cars. This one has French license plates. It's a GLE 53, which is the second most powerful GLE. It's just parked and it pollutes a lot and no one cares, which I actually agree with. Another microcar. How many A6s have we seen here versus how many microcars? I might get run over by a car soon, by the way. This is a very cool car. It's an Arteon, which is the replacement of the Volkswagen CC. It's actually a much bigger car now than the Passat that it replaces. It has been selling relatively well in East Europe, but in Western Europe it hasn't been selling that well. So what do we have here? Austrian plates, a Volkswagen Amarok actually. I'm actually surprised by the amount of pickup trucks that you see here in the Netherlands and even in downtown Amsterdam. I saw a Ram 1500 while walking here with the V8. And that's the kind of car that supposedly does not exist anymore in this kind of city. On a side note, there's a really easy way to tell apart the current Mercedeses that look just the same from the front. If the headlight has got 3 lines, it's an S-Class. If the headlight has got 2 lines, it's an E-Class. And if the headlights have got just 1 line, it's a C-Class. That's the easy way to do it. By the way, that's a fantastic looking car. This is not about cars anymore, but I really like the vibe of this city, especially on days like this. I actually don't like the city that much in general. That's why I live in Madrid. But the main reason why I don't like it is because it's such a cold and rainy city the whole year, except for like 2 months during the summer. So this is a beautiful day. It's almost November and it's almost 20 degrees Celsius, which is not a common thing around here. Which is why I decided to walk around and film a short video and hope that someone actually sees it. Oh hey, look, a Swiss plate RS3 over there. There are a lot of enthusiast cars here in Amsterdam. An important thing to note if you're walking around Amsterdam or drunk around Amsterdam is that you get a €100 fine if you piss on the street, and you get another €100 fine if you drink on the street, and you get another €100 fine if you use your cell phone while biking. You do occasionally see a modded car here in downtown Amsterdam, but it's not the most common thing really. Like that Golf GTI over there, or that E60 with, well, I have no idea what those wheels are. Oh hey, there's another Ram. That's a 1500 as well with a V8. Of course, there is some truth to the whole bike thing, which I can show by actually having to use one. But it's not as compulsory or mandatory as a lot of people make it seem. Well, I hope you enjoyed that short walk around Amsterdam, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more car-related content on this channel. See you next time.